Okay, so it's recording now. Okay, so first thing, just if you could introduce yourself, explain what you do here. I'm at City FM right now, and also any other things you have going on, and then we'll go from there.
Well, obviously, I think you already know my name, Juliet Bawuah, and I'm a sports journalist, broadcast journalist, and in sports, if I should put it that way. And basically here at City FM, I do reports, not just on sports, but also mainline news as and when it's expected for me to do so. But my main focus here is on sports. We do a whole lot of things. We have a day, we have like 3 sports shows that is running. Updates, you give people updates on what is going on in the sports world, be it a player from Ghana, be it a player from any of the African countries or Europe as well. We keep people up to date or up to speed on what goes on around the world, especially on the African continent. And on Wednesday, we have our main show that is more like bringing personalities on board and finding out from them. It can be a Black Stars player. We've had the likes of Abedi Pele in the studio, Stephen Appiah, I just named them, and just to find out their life, what they do, even aside football, what they do. And also on Sunday evening, we do a roundup of all the Europe results, and also the Ghana League as well. We bring people up to speed with what is going on, what the fixtures they played, the results were, and if any Ghanaian players were in. Most of the time we focus much on the Ghanaian players, and before we even move to other continents and check out maybe how their big stars fared. Talk about the likes of maybe Kalu, Toure, Drogba, Keita, and the rest. And that is what I do here.
Okay, great. And then you're also a journalism student.
Yeah. I just want to better myself a bit. I've planned that in the next 3 years I want to be done with my degree and also my master's as well. So before I go to 2014 World Cup, God willing, I want to be able to I want to finish up my master's before. That is my own little ambition. I just want to be get done with my master's in PR as well as sports journalism. So that is what my main focus is. So I normally go to school on weekends. I decided to do it during weekdays, but I get so tired when you come to work. So I decided to just do it on weekends, and it's very hectic, but this is what I want to do. Sports journalism is what I've always been dreaming of, or what I think of doing. That is me, so I just have to do it. I just go I don't have any option. If there's a story on sports or any other thing, I have to get updates on it. I have to be up to abreast with the news or abreast with what's going on, as well as my educational background as well. So that is what has been happening, and I think it's not easy at all, but I'm trying to stay focused. I'm trying to keep in tune with the demands that come with the work as much as the demands that come with the school.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've been following you on Twitter, and you're very reliable in reporting a range of things. I mean, from things going on with Ghana sports, but also more internationally. And yeah, I'm amazed you keep up with that at the same time you have a job and you're going to school. So in the article, I'll have your Twitter handle listed, so other people can follow you. Okay, so taking a look at Ghana football specifically, a lot of my audience is mainly Americans, and for Americans, there's some Americans who don't even know where Ghana is, but it's now suddenly people know the name Ghana a little bit better because 2 times now
we've played USA,
they faced off in the World Cup, and both times the result was not good for the United States. So it was, and so people are starting to take Ghana seriously, and there's even talk of some kind of rivalry between the U.S. and Ghana, because it's happened twice. So my question is for you, take a look about just assess Ghana football, the national, in terms of the national team, the senior team, where they're at right now, and what you think for the future, because they've made by all means a tremendous amount of progress. Any observer.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you look at their results in the last World Cup, they almost, the Uruguay game was an unfortunate result. They almost advanced further in the World Cup, and it would have been the furthest they've progressed in the World Cup, as I understand it. So take a look at how they are now going forward the next year African Cup of Nations, how you think they'll fare, and then also going forward for other international events, the 2014 World Cup, and so on.
That's a huge question, but
yeah.
It's very simple. It comes like this. Over the years, I think Ghana football, many people didn't know Ghana football. We had the likes of Abedi Pede, we had the likes of Samuel Osaikofo, we had the likes of Yao Perko. Just name them. They were doing so well. Some of them in the German Bundesliga, others also in the French league. When Abedi was also flying the Ghana flag high, but that time it was specifically about individual players. It doesn't come down to probably Ghana latter stages, and you got to know. But talking about the Ghana team and also the national team in general, it has gone through so many progress. I think the team has gone through so many phases. Let's not. I don't want to even go back. When you take the 2006 World Cup, it got to a time we didn't even have. We had a pool of players, but selecting the players to even tournament, you get the players for the qualifiers. But there's a case, maybe the players you use for the qualifiers, you want to put them on the World Cup stage, and some gets injured, and now you think you've planned around Michael Essien, you've planned around Suleiman Tari, and now all of a sudden something like this happens, and we didn't have backups, we didn't have good backups for these players, because you take someone like Michael Essien, solid player, and everybody saw what he can do on the world stage when we went for the Germany Cup of Nations, and it was amazing. And the players, the only thing that I think keeps the Ghana team going, that is the unity among the players. I've followed them for so long, and you speak to quite a number of them, and they are very confident. That's one thing. They don't take things for granted. They know this is a game they have to win. They don't go in solemn-headed that this game, we know we have it under wraps, we're going to take it. No, it doesn't happen like that in camp. Everybody gets calm, like a normal match day or a game or a tournament. Everybody is calm. They all appreciate individual brilliance. They look out for each other on the field. It started growing among them from the 2006 World Cup. Then it graduated from there. We came for the 2008 Cup of Nations here in Ghana, where there were a lot of pressure on the boys to deliver home the host and win. That was the slogan here in Ghana. They did their part. I think we had players who were hungry for success. We had players. That was when people, even before the Cup of Nations, we had the Zenith 4 Nation tournament, and that was when people saw the likes of Dede Ayew and so many young players coming up into the team, and people eyebrows were raised like, why do you have to give maybe an 18-year-old or a chance to play for the Black Stars in 2008 Cup of Nations whilst we have big players sitting on the bench? But I think he knew what he was doing at that time, because he gave the young boys confidence to go all out and tell them, you can do it. You are doing it for your nation. As much as you're getting the name for yourself, you're also getting the name for your nation. They went all out, although they placed third, but I think they did the country a lot of good, and people on the continent saw the kind of stuff they are made of. Going from there up to the qualifiers, going through the qualifiers stages, now Ghana was on an international map. Everybody was expecting a lot from the Black Stars. Now when you mention the Black Stars, when you mention the likes of Dede Ayew, you mention the likes of Michael Essien. Michael Essien was in Chelsea, Dede in France, Steven Appiah in the Italian league. Suleiman Tari also there. You mentioned every player in the Black Stars team, and it looks like they all have important role to play also in the club level. So everybody gets they started getting interested in the Ghana team, and they want to know what actually is keeping them. But I will tell you is a unity in camp or unity in the dressing room that is keeping this team going. Throughout their qualifying stages, they had a focus that they have to go for the 2010 World Cup. They have to be there, not just going there, but also going to represent the continent, going to perform and going to make sure Ghana's name is also on the map. And that is exactly what they did. I remember very well when we went to South Africa, the first game against Serbia, and Goran Milo decided to put across young players in the team, and it didn't come so well. It didn't go down so well for the big boys in the squad, and definitely they are human, so you're going to get that response. He decided to put Suleiman Tari on the bench for Dede Ayew, and it was a heavy decision. It was a big decision for him to do, and for me, I was even amazed. And being in the team's camp, I was like, this is a big chance for Dede Ayew, and he knew it was a big chance for him. And one thing, I keep mentioning his name because he has gone through the ranks. He knows what it takes to make an impact in the world stage. He knows when to put Ghana's name on the map. He knows when to deliver, not for himself but for the country. And we went to the first game, and everybody saw the kind of stuff all the players are made of. They look out for each other on the field, and for them, Ghana to win was a priority. Ghana to go to the final was the aim that they took there, not to crash out on the group stages. No. They knew one way or the other they were going to play a draw or something, but their main focus was to take game after game after game and go to the top. So the pressure didn't eat to them. They decided to make sure that the pressure that people are back home in Ghana, they are so passionate about football, and you lose a game and the whole of the country, like everybody goes mad. Yeah. Everybody goes, wow.
I saw it, yeah.
It's more like that. It's even bigger than a president to lose an election here in Ghana. When the Black Stars are playing, you don't see anybody outside. Especially when it's like in bigger tournaments, even friendly games, you don't see. Everybody wants to rush home and go and watch the national team. And we have a pool of players from the local league, from those who are planning their trades outside, and now it makes it even difficult for coaches to even select players for the national team. After the 2010 World Cup, their main focus again was now to setting their eyes on to win the Cup of Nations. It's been a while since we won it, like 30 years, and now they want to make a mark in the Cup of Nations. They know it's not going to be easy. We've got how people put them underdogs in the Cup of Nations, and Senegal, talk about Mali, talk about
Mali's
Guinea,
in the same group.
Talk about Guinea, talk about even Gabon. We played them in the friendly, and we saw the kind of stuff they can pose a threat. Botswana, they are making a case for themselves. Zambia and Almighty Ivory Coast, that is how people put it. But they believe anything is possible. They are not going into the tournament as favorites. They don't want to be tagged as that. People can tag them as favorites, but they want to go into the tournament taking it game after game after game, just as they do for every tournament. They don't want to rely on maybe individual players to do the job. They don't want to go like Botswana are then probably new entrants into this, so they can't make a mark. So we just play for a draw, and maybe starting the mathematics, we draw against this and we win against this. No. Every point is important. Every game is important to them, and they've promised the people of Ghana that they are going to try their best to make sure they bring back home the ultimate. That is not why they are going there. At the back of their mind, they want to win the trophy, but they don't want to they don't want to put things like it's on the silver platter. They are going for the trophy, no, because we have equally better and good teams represented the nation. If Senegal was able to make sure Cameroon didn't qualify for the Nations Cup, then you should know you have a real opponent in
because Egypt and Nigeria also are not in the tournament.
Then you should know you have real opponents. Algeria, Tunisia, they are all strong contenders for this, and I don't see any small team in this Cup of Nations, but their main the Black Stars, their main focus is they think the wait is over. They have to win the Cup of Nations. They went close to the Cup of Nations in 2008 and they took a bronze medal. They went very close in 2010 when just a single mistake and Egypt won the trophy, and they were kind of broken because they really wanted to bring the cup back home, and this time they're going there. They said they have to be third time lucky. So we're just hoping, and the people of Ghana are also hoping. I believe in the players. I know the kind of stuff they are made of. I've seen them play both at local level, right through before some of them became the stars that they are now. And there are times I vouch for some of them because I know the kind of stuff they are made of. If even they are not playing well, and people think their form has dipped, you should trust them to pull a surprise one way or the other. And Dede Ayew is one of them. Michael Essien is one of them, and Sule Muntari is one of them. When people think Sule's performance has gone down the drain, just expect him to a game or something like 5 minutes or even just a matter of seconds, he can pull a trick for you to get the needed results that a team needs. That is the most important reason why they normally keep people like players like that in a team. So I think it's going to be a great African Cup of Nations, but on the other hand, the Black Stars are not going in as favourite.
Who do you think is the favourite, Ivorian?
I think Ivory Coast stands clearly. They have a star-studded team, and they stand as favourite because the team that I saw in 2008 African Cup has evolved, and now they play. The whole idea, that is how I see it, the whole idea of the Ivory Coast national team. They want them to play together for long.
It seems like they struggle with organization on that side.
Yeah, so they want them to play together for long. They want the players to gel. It's just like the Barca team. So if Messi has the ball, he knows maybe David Villa is on the other side. Just when he crosses the ball, he will get to this person. That is the whole idea. They want to revolve around the Ivorian national team. And I think it's not just people mentioning their failure. I think they're going to do well because I've seen them play throughout the qualifiers, and if my eyes are serving me right, I think they're going to cause problems. They are not. The favorite tag is not just on them. I think they'll also prove a mark at the Cup of Nations.
Yeah, they do have a lot of power on that team.
Exactly, because you take players like Drogba, Javino,
Touré
brothers, and Touré makes football so simple. You watch him and you think he's a midfield powerhouse because he doesn't do anything extraordinary, but he makes sure the job is done. That's the whole idea. And if you're a team and you want to get results, that is the kind of players you need in your team, because one way or the other the person is going to pull one like magic for you to win, just like he did against Manchester United in a FA Cup final. So those are kind of things we are going to see. We are going to see like young players also popping up in the Cup of Nations, which other people are looking up to. We have so many youngsters on the continent. Dembaba, everybody is looking up to him to deliver.
So what do you think about Souleymane Koulibaly, this young Ivorian who? Yeah, how many goals did he have? He had like 9 goals in 4 matches or something.
He's amazing. I watched the under-17, and he was the talk of the town. So many clubs, I think, were following him at that time, and I think it all boils down to his management to be able to manage him well, because I think he has a great potential. And people started liking him to the Drogba, and I think Drogba is in a class of his own. And on the continent, Drogba we've got so many players. Eto has seen it all when it comes to like football. But I think Drogba is also in a league of his own. And I think if Koulibaly is going to make a mark, which I think he can step up and do it. People are so many people are looking up to the young ones to impress. That is the whole idea. I think that is the whole idea. As much as the experienced ones will come to play in the African Cup of Nations, it also brings up the platform for people to see the kind of stuff maybe teams or countries, the kind of young players they also have.
Sure. Yeah. So another thing I wanted to ask you about, more generally outside of Ghana, we've already talked about some other African players and other African teams, but a lot of African players, they're trying to make their way to a club team in Europe, one way or the other. They're trying to. A lot of players in Africa, that's their dream, their goal. I want you to, if you could, speak on that and just talk about some of the ways that it's kind of controversial, because there's a lot of different factors. There's agents, there's the teams and the players themselves who are just trying to get the best for themselves, but it seems like sometimes they get caught in this system. There's big stars who are doing very well for themselves, but there's a lot of other players. So if you could address that.
Yeah, definitely, because we have so many, and now it amazes me because it's just hard to do. It's not just about the players. I think the pressure also from the agents these days, and you see a player play 1, 2, 3 games in maybe, let's say, Nigeria, or plays 1, 2, 3 games in Cameroon or Ivory Coast, and now all they sink into the player's mind is go to Europe. It's not just about going to Europe. It's not just about the club getting a contract or for the club, from the club for the player. I've seen so many players who have signed for big teams, who are African players, who are now struggling to even get a first team place. And I won't even go for our own Dominic Adia, that's under 20 best player. He got awards for the under 20 best player, and everybody wanted him to make a mark like throughout the year. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, an agent pop up from somewhere and says, "I've gotten a contract for you at AC Milan." It all boils down to management and how to manage these kind of players and the people who manage the players. If you don't have the right people by you to be speaking to you, you always make mistakes. I'm not saying the Adia move is not good, but on the other hand, I thought so many clubs apart from AC Milan wanted to buy him, and he could have tried clubs, or people could have advised him to try clubs which will give him more playing time.
Maybe the name's not as big, but better for his career though.
Exactly, we'll give him more playing time than the AC Milan, because AC Milan, everybody knows AC Milan for his experienced legs, and it will be very difficult for you to break into the AC Milan first 11. Very, very difficult. Mm-hmm. Pato and Co has tried, and it has not been easy, and we all see what they go through. So I think management of the players, it has failed in a way, because I understand in a way they have to get monies for their families back home on the African continent, but you also have to put your career in perspective. You have to understand that it's not just about going to sit on the bench of maybe, let's take a club like Liverpool or Chelsea. It's not just about going to sit on the bench, it's about getting playing time. Mm-hmm. Because you sit on the bench and with time you get rusty, and by the time they decide to release you for you to go on loan or something, the other clubs, you go on trials or they sign you and they wouldn't want to use you again because you look rusty. And it's normal if you have players not playing, and just when they get back into first team action or something, they become rusty. And we've seen a whole lot of things. I think a whole lot of deals are going on back scenes. That is why I'm glad that FIFA now has brought up this. If you're not a FIFA agent, you can't transfer players abroad.
Mm-hmm.
And now even people are going backwards to do the same thing. But I think players should advise themselves, because there are times you have to even get advices with your contract issues, because it's not just every contract that you have to put your signature on. And if you're not well educated, which on the African continent is worrying our game, if you're not well educated, and now people have started to know the meaning or the importance of getting like education plus the football career as well, because if you're not well educated and you put your signature to a contract which you have no idea of, maybe it will be saying, there will be a clause in the contract that will be telling you that your salary will be coming through my account, through the agent's account, but because you're not intellectually like sharp, if I should put it that way, you wouldn't be able to make that clause out. You just sign and anywhere they go, if they go to court of arbitration, anywhere they go, I think you'll be fine. One thing, the agent won't have any like questions to answer, because your signature is on the same. So I think those issues has to be addressed. It's not just about going to the international stage and performing. Every African country would love to see their players perform, just like the likes of Adebayo and Co are doing, but it has to go through the right channel. You have to improve yourself, you have to better yourself in your league, and then you get a recognition outside. Then there are times players get recognition from clubs, not through any agent, and you just go ahead and play instead of it going through agents. I think sometimes it is worrying.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And also players too, like if they get injured or something, sometimes they have nothing to fall back on. Other opportunities. Okay, so to kind of round out the interview, just like some quick kind of questions you can just react to. So your AFCON prediction winner.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but
you have to pick one. You have to tell me.
I can put three on the spot. I can put three.
Okay.
Yeah, I see Senegal coming in strong. Obviously, I'm thinking Ivory Coast coming in strong, but from a Ghanaian perspective, I also love to see the Black Stars in the top. So these three teams, I think, could make or could take the trophies to their various countries.
Not confident for Ghana? Can't pick a winner? What's your prediction?
That's what I said. Either Ghana, Ivory Coast, or Senegal.
Okay. Next one. Kevin Prince Boateng has said that he's retired from international football. Your thoughts on that? You think he's going to stick to his word and not return to Ghana? Or, what's your opinion on the matter?
Oh, it's very emotional in here in Ghana now when you talk about Kevin Prince Boateng, and I think the player made his intentions clear. He put the reasons why he can't play for the nation. As an individual, and not even a journalistic view, I think it hurts, because many think Ghana, he got the recognition through Ghana playing for the World Cup 2010, but that doesn't take anything away from him that he's a brilliant player. And with or without Ghana, probably his destiny could have manifested somewhere else, but I think it came through Ghana, and people saw the kind of stuff he's made of, and through that he got a contract with AC Milan. He has, after that, I think his performance for the Ghana team was not that encouraging. He played almost, 1-2 games for the Black Stars, and he decided to quit. Now it's a dead and gone issue in Ghana now, and it was good it even came earlier than if he had come anywhere close to the end of this month, it would have distracted the plans of the Black Stars ahead of the 2012 Nations Cup. And he cited reasons for health issues as being the cause of quitting the Black Stars. I find it a bit strange, because so many people we've had. It's different if a player says he's taking a break and he'll come back, just like Michael Essien did, which people were not even in favor of the decision. But in a way, you understand Michael because he has gone through so many injury situations, with terrible injury situations.
Yeah, surgeries, everything.
Which could have ended his career, but he's still strong. He is a tough person. And he is able to get on his feet, and he came back and played for the Black Stars. He got injured again, and now he's injured again, and we're hoping he comes back like better than the Bison that we used to know. So if Kevin says it's through health issues, I think it's a bit unfortunate, but if we take the issue also on other perspective, I think we just have to respect the player's decision. He has made his decision, and they've spoken to him about it. He said he's not going to change his mind of the decision that he has made. He thinks it's fine now, and we hope to see 2014 World Cup will be very soon, and we hope to see if there will be change of mind after the African Cup of Nations, or there will be change of mind ahead of the 2014 World Cup, which many think that is going to be the situation. But the Ghana Football Association has rubbished all reports that they are not going to speak to him again, and that they think the Calvin issue is dead and gone. So we just have to leave it like that. If he decides to come back and play for Ghana, then the Football Association will sit down and decide whether to give him another chance and the reasons why he's coming back into the team and why that particular time. So until they do that, or until he takes that decision to come back to the team, I think now it's a dead and gone issue in Ghana here, and it's history. The Black Stars are moving forward. We've got the likes of Abid Pele left the team. The Black Stars were still strong. Samuel Osei left the team after the 2006 World Cup. The Black Stars still remain strong. They are great players individually.
Yeah, I think
Stephen
they have to
Appiah
move
left
on,
the team, and the Black Stars is still growing strong. The team is not just a single-handed team, like a single-player team. With or without a player, they make sure they get the business done. So, with or without Kevin Prince-Boateng, although he's a fantastic player by all standards, I think the Black Stars will do well.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they have to move on. Yeah, it seems like for him to sit out from the 2014 World Cup would be very strange though, because he's still a young guy, and and I agree with you too. Like, he owes Ghana somewhat, because if he would have sided with the German squad, he probably would have not seen the same amount of playing time and everything.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, okay, yeah, I agree with you on that. Luis Suarez. He's under some pressure right now. Some charges were brought against him. I know in Ghana people were not too fond of him anyway to begin with because of the handball last year.
People are still not too fine with him.
Yeah.
Just the Liverpool supporters in Ghana that are trying to come to terms with the fact that he is their player now, and undoubtedly he's a good player.
Yeah, sure.
He's a class. That's I think that's how I describe him, and you can't take anything away from him. He made a very terrible mistake. He caused Ghana a lot, and I think that is done and gone.
But this is separate now. Yeah, the racial charge though.
Yeah, the racial charges. I think it has to do with I don't know if I should put it. Something is actually wrong with him. It has to do with people who speak to him. I think the coaches or their psychologists or anything, they have to work on him, because this is not just the first time a player is accusing him of one thing or the other. Right from his play days back in his former club, he did a similar thing, biting people, making funny statements. So this is not the first time, and you can't. Racism in football is not accepted. African players have suffered from that a lot. Samuel Eto'o in Italy, even when he was playing so well, even when he scores like a hat-trick for the team, you get people who racially abuse him. Adebayo has gone through that. Drogba, so many.
Yeah.
Some uncomfortable African players, both in Spain, Russia especially, and those people have been involved in that, and under no circumstance that we have to entertain racism in football. I think that is how come the comments by the FIFA president, Blatter, was a bit out of place.
Yeah, so he said there's no racism in football.
Yeah, it was a bit out of place, and I don't think I don't know what he was thinking at that particular time when he made mention of those remarks, but it was good for him and his image to come back and apologize to the people that maybe people misunderstood what he said, because you can't accept that in football. And for Luis Suarez, I think the FA is on the right track for charging him, because the whole idea was to get this Suarez here to get everyone distracted from the play, because obviously
it's a tactic,
so that he wins, and that is what he does on the field. If you've really watched him play, that is what he does. And you can't tell me you don't know Everett's name, and calling him an Negro or something, and that your country is accepted, to call someone an Negro. But right now the country you're playing in is unacceptable, and I think the FA are on it, and the charges for me is in the right direction, because he even denied saying those things. And you got Kenny Dalglish also backing him, and obviously he's his coach, so he will back him, and the club as well will back him. But,
of course,
but it was good that at least this is the third time I think ever people are saying he accused people, but with the other two incidents, he didn't even accuse the real issues. He didn't accuse those people of racially abusing him. So I think it's a vindication on Everett's part, and I think the FA should really work on that, because you have to keep those things away from football.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Okay, last question. The English Premier League is very popular in Ghana.
Very.
Very popular.
Very.
And I know at least every Ghanaian I know has an allegiance one way or the other. Usually to the top tier teams.
Yeah.
And I know that you're a big Manchester United fan.
But objective as well.
Objective? I don't know about that. I'm not so sure about that. So what do you think, so this is not, this is a more just English Premier League question, but, what do you think about Manchester United this year going forward? And because it looks like City is pulling away.
Well, we almost said the same thing last season when Chelsea was leaving the park with 11 points, and at a point we thought this Chelsea squad is not going to drop points. There's no way this Chelsea team is going to even drop a single point at home or away to any club. But it so happened that when they started losing games, or when they started losing the points, it was even amazing, because you think this was the team that was performing, was scoring the tennis scoreline, 7-1, 6-1 and all of that.
Yeah, everyone thought they were invincible. And
this season you can't take anything away from Manchester City. They've made some big signings and spending as well, and it has really given the team a very good morale booster. And individually, I think they have great players. And you compare the individual players to Manchester United, and you see that they are far ahead of the Manchester United team. But the only thing that keeps United going, I think, is a bit of history, a bit of experienced legs in the team who can turn games around in a second, and not any extraordinary performances, because they started the league quite well, but throughout, injury has not done good with the team for some time now, and you can't use injury as an excuse, especially you can only use that as an excuse when you had the chance to buy players during the summer, and Alex Ferguson didn't do that. We needed a creative midfielder, which he didn't do that. We needed defensive left back, which probably if players are injured, they will step in like a good backup, on the bench. It's not just bringing up academy players. We know they can perform. Maybe you can give them the chance in the Carling Cup, not even in the FA Cup. Once in a while you blend them and use them for the FA Cup. But it so happened that he decided not to, because he had believed in the young players who were coming up, the likes of Welbeck, Phil Jones, Smalling that he signed and Cleverley, and he thought they are going to be able to do their job. But this is the case. If Anderson is injured, if Cleverley is injured, and now who is going to be in the midfield area? You have to try so many options, and
need a day are you?
You have to try so many options, and now City are in top form. The only I think problem they will be having is the fatigue, like with the Champions League and also playing in the FA Cup, playing the Carling Cup, playing back to back. They are not used to playing those games, and now they always relying on first 11 is going to be difficult because you can't play them throughout, you can't rotate them throughout these games. But you look at the United squad and you see that Alex Ferguson like reshuffle the team.
There's more depth.
Like very, very often, and he wants to give credence to everybody in the team as well as also see what everybody is capable of doing when given the chance to perform. But United currently is struggling, but I think it's not done and dusted. The league is not done and dusted because you could see a very tight race in the first four. You can't even write off Tottenham Hotspur. You can't write off Arsenal.
What about Newcastle? Newcastle, them about they're hanging around up there.
Yeah, you can't write off Newcastle because they've got a fantastic defense in the Premier League so far. The same way that you can't write off Chelsea. They seem to dip, but now they've picked up and they're coming back. They've seen it was just about ensuring confidence in the players. That was what Chelsea needed. Giving confidence to the young boys that they can do it and getting courage for Villas-Boas to put their so-called big boys on the bench for the small boys to deliver. That was the whole idea. And they did that against Valencia yesterday, and you could see
I was watching that.
An improvement in the team. So the league is not done and dusted. I still think City is going to go how strong, but people will get to know how strong they are. If the next game is against Chelsea, then they'll be playing Arsenal, and Arsenal have tried to play well among the first four, just that they lost to United 8-2, where they didn't have enough experienced players in the team like they have now. And United can't beat them 8-2 again. When they meet them at the Emirates Stadium, that is very clear. And
I notice on your timeline you're making fun of some of the Arsenal supporters.
Yeah, you just have to ease the pressure off a bit. At times I want to put a bit of humor to my tweets. You know, every time it has to go rigid. You have to, Chelsea has qualified. You have to get one or two players in there and go like Mikalobi gets the ball and all he does is back pass. So people, those are the funny. I just don't watch the football. You have to watch those interesting.
The storylines.
The storylines, the hairstyles of Balotelli and all that. It all has to come to play, and it makes your timeline interesting as well as also makes the league interesting. So I think City is going to cause problems this season because I don't see them dropping too many points. And if they keep this form, that is after the 17th game, if they keep this form, I think it's going to be a good season for them. But you can't take anything away from Manchester United. I think they grind the results even in difficult moments, and they are 5 points is not that much, and even just a point or two away from Tottenham Hotspur and others is not that much. With Hotspur having a game in hand, anything can happen on the table log. So I think all the teams are going to go out strong, especially in January going to May. Like I always say, trophies are won in May, so we'll wait and see who carries the day. But clearly now it stands that City are favourite to pick up the league if they continue with this kind of performance.
Yeah. And Manchester United has a game, they have a match tonight. Correct?
Yeah.
Champions again. Yeah. What's your prediction there? Easy victory?
It's not going to be easy victory. Basel came to Old Trafford. They managed to get a draw, which I think they played so well on the night, and they deserve to even win that game. I even posted on my Twitter account that this is a game Barca will have to win. And as much as I love United, I try to be objective as ever. If United is not playing well, I wouldn't say United is playing well, no. And sometimes people on my timeline goes like, I have to be a true United fan. I go like,
can't say
if it's
negative,
A and you can't say it's B, and that is how it's going to be. Against Barca at their own backyard, it's going to be a very difficult game, very cagey encounter, because they have nothing to lose. They want to go all out and make sure they get a win for the thousands of people who are going to come to the stadium to watch them. They don't want to disgrace themselves. They are able to do it at Old Trafford, and they think they can do it back home at Basel. But these are the kind of challenges that the Manchester United squad they need, or these are the kind of challenges that they want to be able to prove to the world that they are still there. 3 times they've gone to the back to back. They've gone to the final, even with a weak team that people thought it was a weak team, that they are not supposed to be in the final. Real Madrid had a very strong squad last season, but they went off midway through. But United, even with the on and off performances, was able to get to the final. So you can't take anything from Sir Alex Ferguson and his boys. I know they're going to go all out this evening, because a draw wouldn't even order well for them. They wouldn't know what Otolu Galati and Benfica will be playing. All they have to do is to win, and I think Ferguson knows that, and he has put that at the back of the minds of the players, and the players know that they have to go all out and win tonight, and I believe and I know they are going to do that.
Okay. And thank you very much, Juliet, and it'll be interesting to, when I do post this online, we'll see, how things play out over time, both with Premier League and also with Ghana, because we've got.
And even with our local league as well, I think over the years it was people would have started watching the EPL, La Liga, and all, but with time, I think at first we used to have big name players. People go to the stadium to go and watch this particular player. Steven Appel was playing. People want to go and watch him. Liechtenstein is playing. Shmalado is playing. People just want to go there and go and watch him. You had significant players there. You have to. You can't miss the action. You just have to be at the stadium to watch them. But it dwindled a bit in the Global Premier League, like our league, and it affected so many players, their performance as well, because this is our own, this is what we have the pride in it, because you watch the South African Premier League and it's amazing. People go to the Soccer City Stadium, we have 90 seater stadium. Yeah, Catherine is that on air. Okay, now I'll be there in a bit. Can I do on top? Can I do on 2? Yeah.
Yeah, we can wrap this up.
No, don't worry. He's going to do that, I suppose. I'll be doing this evening. He will do this evening.
You're going to prepare for the match.
Yeah. So it dwindled a bit, but I think our local league last season, the media made a lot of noise about it, because this is our own, and just as I was saying, when you talk about the South African league, you have 90-seater capacity stadium, and the whole place is full. When Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates are playing, and I've been there several times, and I've watched those games, and it's amazing. The number of people that will turn to the stadium to go and watch their local league. That is how come players in South Africa even find it so hard to travel outside the country, because they know every money that you need in the country, they are going to give you for you to play in the team, and it's very lucrative. You get what you need. You also play, and it's being live across the world, so people will get to, see your performances. The media made a lot of noise about the Ghana League last season, because the standard was very low. But I think this season it has improved tremendously, because we play 10 games now. And you could see real competition going on the table. Asante Kotoko, that 2-time African champions leading the pack with 21 points, keenly followed by former champions Bekum Chelsea. That's 2010 champions Bekum Chelsea with Heart of Oak also there. With you have like you could see like competition at the top of the table, and that should tell you that now people are getting interested in the league because Kotoko is playing against this team, and everybody wants to take a glance at it. Everyone to watch on TV. Everybody wants to see what actually like is going on. And for me, I'm very pleased with it. I've been talking about it throughout this season that the rate at which that is scoring, we are just hoping for the best, and I think it's just going to get better because at first you get people watching the EPL even more than the Global Premier League, but now people have partitioned their time to watch a bit of this and a bit of that. So I think it's only going to get better because we have good players from the team who are coming up, and this is where we got so many of the likes of Essence from the Liberty Professionals, Solomon Tari, Kojo Asamoah, Emmanuel Ajimambedu, just name them. Harrison Afo, who is a current African champion medal holder, like for Esperance. That this is where they all started from, and to see it go down, it was very sad. But now it's back on track, and I think it's only going to get better.
Okay, great. I look forward to following along.
Yeah. Because now we tweeted a lot, like weekends when I'm not that busy after school and I get hold of the results. I normally like tweet them or maybe retweet some of my friends who are at the stadium, various stadiums. But I think it's getting better.
Yeah, it's good to hear. Who do you support in the local league?
Any team that is doing well locally, I don't really like support, but I always like it when Kotoko and Hearts are playing.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere.
It's more like the derby, that's the El Clasico, the Ghana El Clasico, that's how they call it here in Ghana.
No, it's true.
It's a great atmosphere. And
I went to one of those matches in 2005.
Okay.
One of those matches between the two big boys, and the atmosphere, it was in Accra, and the atmosphere was great. It was stadium, amazing, I mean, it was incredible.
Even in Kumasi, it gets better.
I'm sure.
It gets better because Kumasi people love to watch football a lot, and that's how come most of the Black Stars games they play is in Kumasi, because the players themselves will tell you in Kumasi when you play you are not under any pressure, because Accra fans are a bit wild because they just demand results, but Kumasi they have a bit of patience. Although they need the results, they have a bit of patience for you, the team to settle down and find their rhythm, like before they get any like goals or something. But Accra don't have patience.
Too much pressure.
Too much pressure.
Yeah.
They love to play almost like all their games in Kumasi, even more than.
They don't want to take the heat from the fans. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much. And
I hope I've exhausted all your questions.
No, that's great. Yeah, I mean, it ended up being more in depth than I thought it would. Covered a lot of ground. So great. And so this will be up on the website, and then I'll also, I'll be in touch with you.
No problem.
I'll be traveling a bit. I'll actually be in Mali during the African Cup of Nations.
Okay.
Should be interesting. I'll be cheering for Ghana, but I'm gonna have to deal with the Malians and stuff.
Yeah.
So that might be a bit difficult.
No problem. So when are you leaving?
I'm actually going to be traveling through Ivory Coast first. I'm still waiting to get the visa for that.
Okay.
So I'm not sure my departure date yet.
Okay, no problem. So we'll keep in contact on Twitter or anywhere, no problem.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So thank you very much.
No problem, Phil.
Okay.